Ahoy Prague, it's my pleasure to be here. It's already the third time I'm here at Design Block. The first time was 12 years ago, and I've also been here in between. Today I've been given 30 minutes to talk about my work, which spans over 30 years, so I'll do like 1 year per minute. Today I will talk about circular design. By the way, this is me, this is my logo. It's a self-portrait. I have no idea what I'm doing there, except that I know that I'm having fun, and having fun is what my work is about. Today I will talk a little bit about circular design. We all know sustainability is like the #1 topic in design. Circular design is invented by Ellen McCartney from the Ellen McCartney Foundation. She made this principle, she calls it the butterfly, in how to make sustainable products. The left side of the butterfly is interesting when you're a farmer, but the right side is super important when you're a designer. So I will zoom into that. So it's a lot of circles. The first circle is about the lifespan of a product. You have to design something which lasts a very long time. So that means the way you construct it is important. The way it has to be repairable. That means don't use glue, for example. And of course, if you share it, it's even better, then more people can enjoy it. The sharing is getting very common. We all know Uber and Bolt and all these bike sharing things. And maintain it, reuse it, redistribute. All these circles are very important in the end. You have to be able to recycle it. So this is a very useful tool for designers. Every step in the process is important when you design. There's only one problem in this whole system, that is not taking into account the use of fossil fuels. So if we really want to get a sustainable world, we have to get rid of our addiction of fossil fuels. We have to stop burning oil, we have to stop burning coal, we have to stop burning gas. And that is missing in this principle. And we all know how devastating it is for the landscape, how devastating it is for the planet. It causes pollution, it causes all kinds of diseases. But the worst thing is it causes global warming. According to Paola Antonelli, the curator of the Museum of Modern Art in New York, we're facing mass extinction. Mankind will come to an end because of this. I'm an optimist. I think we still can change the tide, and we have to change the tide, and we all have to do it. And design plays an important role in this process. If you look at the carbon emission which comes from the fossil fuels, 30% it comes from transportation, cars, boats and airplanes. Another 30% comes from the built environment. We're talking about heating of houses, offices, electricity for your mobile phone, etc. That causes another 30%, but the main cause of this carbon emission is caused by industry. Industry which makes all these products, all these useless products, we design as a designer, which are consumed and thrown away. So the biggest part of the carbon dioxide emission comes from fossil fuels. So as a designer, you have a very big responsibility to reduce the carbon footprint of your products. We all saw what's happening with this global warming. Rivers dry up here in Italy. It's same happening in China. And we have all these heat waves causing bushfire, which adds even more to the problem. So the problem is very urgent if we don't want mass extinction. The only other serious threat we have is this crazy sick Putin who might press the nuclear button, but otherwise this is the main problem of mankind. The neighbors of Czech, which are also the neighbors of the Netherlands and Germany, they had massive floods, people dying, all caused by the use of fossil fuels and global warming, which is the result of it. Even 1/3 of Pakistan has floods caused by this. So there really is a big urge to change. Fortunately, a lot of people protesting. I see a lot of young people here, they're also protesting. And protesting is good, but action speaks louder than words, so we also have to do something. So I'll focus a bit on circular design, because that's a principle which is really working. This is a lamp I designed for Dutch company Mooi. As you can see, this is a really circular design. It's a lot of circles. I like circles. So this is the ultimate example of circular design. If you look at the principles of the circular economy, it's working very well. It's a timeless design, long-lasting. You can repair it, you can share it, you can recycle it if needed at the end of the life cycle. It's made from recycled materials. So this is a very good example of circular design. But it will not save the planet. It will not change a fucking thing about the problem we are facing. This is a chandelier for a luxury brand Christofle from Paris. I've designed as part of a whole collection called Atome d'Argent. They make silver objects, and based on the sphere, I designed the chandelier. Again, this is totally circular. Of course, silver is precious, so people will cherish it. It's an expensive piece. It will last a long time. If needed, it can be recycled. I wouldn't do that. I would make sure you pass it on to the next generation. For an Italian client called Ghidini, 1961, I've designed this champagne cooler. Very fun object, made of brass. Also, again, very good to recycle at the end of the life cycle. But I try to keep it in the first circle of circular design and make sure that people cherish it and pass it on to the next generation. And hopefully, centuries from now, if mankind still is alive, people will still celebrate with champagne this object. The design got inspired by this mug. It's called the Dumbo mug. I designed it over 20 years ago. In the meantime, we sold over 1 million of these mugs. It's all around the world. We sold it in over 100 countries. When you sell over 1 million pieces, then you don't reach only people who are interested in design. You reach a much wider audience. I'm trained as an industrial designer, so I'm very happy to make something mass-produced. But looking back, I wouldn't have designed it. It's made from plastic, which means it's made from oil. I wish I came up with a better solution. Another circular design is this chair I designed for a Swedish company, Affect. It's called Satellite Chair, because I designed it from the top view, which is, again, a circle, so it makes it circular design. It has this small side table which can spin around the seat, so it's useful for left and right-handed people. I also made this chair which is called a cloud chair. It's nice to sit on the cloud. It's made from stainless steel, which can be recycled at the end of the life cycle. But I'm pretty sure if you pay 50,000 euros for a chair, you're not thinking about recycling. You're thinking about keeping the product alive and passing it on to the next generation. In the same family, I made this layers cloud chair. It's a unique piece, one-off. It took me 600 hours to design and build it. It's 845 layers of textile. It's made out of solid wool. It's like 250 kilos. It's a one-off piece. It's really a piece of art. This is also not saving the planet, but it's also not destroying the planet. But we have, as designers, we have to come up with designs which really improve the world. I put this in because it's hanging here. You can all look at it. I won the award for the most sustainable design from the Netherlands last year. It's the wheel. Here I really made sure it's sustainable, so it has LED lights integrated into it, which is low energy consumption. It's without glue, so it's only screwed together, so each part can be taken out and replaced by a new part in the case it breaks. It can be recycled, it's made from recycled materials. So this is already a step in the right direction when it comes to circular design. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. I went to a concert last night in Prague of one of my favorite bands, Mudhoney. That is grunge band from the early 90s. I also had to pogo a bit and drink a lot of beer, so I'm not the sharpest today, but that's a side step. This I designed for an Italian company called Kibu. It's lenses with a lot of circles, so it's circular design. But I regret that I designed this piece because it's made of plastic. And just before COVID, I was invited by Design, this website you probably all know, to give a talk about sustainable design. And I was in a panel discussion with the CEO of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. And it was such a scam. This guy was promoting the use of plastic. And he said it's amazing material, and it's not. Plastic cannot be recycled. Only 9% of the plastic worldwide gets recycled. And that includes thermal recycling. And thermal recycling means that you burn it and that the heat gets used to heat up buildings or something. But it's actually adding to the problem. Plastic cannot really be recycled. It's really damaging for the planet. It's really damaging for the ozone layer. It's bad for your health. It destroys the planet. It destroys the sea life. And it's actually in your blood. 9 out of 10 people here today have plastic in their blood. It causes cancer. It causes all kinds of other diseases. So we have to stop using plastic. And then, the year before COVID, I got asked by Schiphol Airport to design their new seating system. And I thought, this is bingo. This is really good, because airports and airplane companies, they have a very bad image. Everybody blames the airline industry for all the pollution, which is not the case. They only are responsible for like 2 or 3% of the carbon dioxide emissions. But they have a bad reputation. So I knew this is bingo, because these people are willing to make the extra mile. They have a bad image and they want to change the image, so I can make something which is like really sustainable and durable. So what I did, I looked at the airport. Schiphol Airport has the ambition to become zero waste in 2030, which is already quite soon, proves that they have a high ambition. So I started to look at their waste, I started to look at the airport, and I started to look which of the waste I could harvest to create a new to create my design. And I found out that the existing seats which they had to replace were made from aluminum. So I decided to use the existing seats and make my design also from aluminum. Aluminum is a very polluting material. It's made from bauxite, which comes from mainly from Australia or South America. And the process of making aluminum from bauxite is very energy intensive. For example, 10% of all the electricity which is used in Australia is used to make aluminum. If it was 1%, it was already a crazy number. It's 10%. And in Australia, the majority of the electricity is made using coal. So this is very bad for the planet. But if you recycle it, the story becomes different. You only need 5% to remelt it again and to make a new product. So I decided to use this aluminum to make my design. As a result, I made Blink. It's not only a blink of the eye. In Dutch, blink also means a hole in the clouds where the sun shines through. I try to be an optimistic designer. I try to improve the world, and I try to show that there's a way out of this situation. As I showed you before, I also made some pretty crazy wild designs, but in this case I tried to make something more classic, more neutral, more timeless. I wanted to make a design which is not only long-lasting in the way it's constructed, but also in the way it looks. So in 30, 40, 50 years from now, hopefully people still will appreciate this design. The main material is aluminum. We installed the first 400 just before COVID, and then we all know that the airports got locked. The way I designed it, it's that it's repairable. Like I showed you in the principles of the circular economy, the first circle of circular economy is to keep a product alive. And what I found out is that a lot of this furniture at airports get broken, not because of the heavy use, but because of the employees. There are all these cars rolling around, delivering luggage to the airports, delivering people to the airplanes. But what happens at night, these people, they started to race with these wheels they have, and they bump into the furniture, and the furniture breaks. That's the main cause that the furniture gets damaged. It means that if you make it repairable, you can extend the life cycle. So just with one screw, you can change the armrest. With one screw, you can change the feet. And so it's very easy to repair. And if a leg gets broken, you melt it again, you make a new one, and the cycle gets extended. For the seats, I used the seats I designed in such a way that they're plastic-free. All the upholstery furniture, also here today in the building, it all has plastic foam inside. In the 50s, plastic foam was invented. It was a revolution. It was a fantastic material. Everything was possible. And it was cheap. So all the industry was really eager to use this plastic foam for their upholstery. But it's very damaging for the people who have to work with it. It's damaging for the planet. So I really wanted to make something which is plastic-free. So instead of using this plastic foam for the seat, I looked at traditional ways to upholster furniture before plastic was invented. And I found out that before the plastic was invented, the soft part of seating was made using horsehair, coconut hair, latex, all these biodegradable natural materials. So I revitalized this very old technique of upholstery, and I put it in the seats of Blink. The additional effect is that it's for the people who have to work with it, it's nicer, it doesn't make you ill, it's more comfortable, so it also adds to the comfort, so the product gets better, and it's longer lasting. So the whole design was more expensive than a standard product if you look at the initial investment. But if you look at the whole cost during the life cycle, this is actually a cheaper way to make a product, because this product will not last 10 or 20 years. This product will last 30, 40, 50 years. You can repair it in the meantime, it doesn't break that fast. So the cost of ownership are actually lower than a cheap competitor from a far Asian country. Like I mentioned, it's plastic free. Even the feet under the seat where they touch the ground are without plastic. So it means that it's fossil fuel free. There's no oil at all in design. The tabletops are made from bioplastic, so not from oil-based plastic, but they are also biodegradable. And this is turned, but I'm very happy as a personal pleasure that Schiphol allowed me to put my name on all of them, because I'm also an ego tripper, you know, so that made me happy. This is a map from Holland. The blue dot is where Schiphol is, and the red circle is where all the suppliers are for making this furniture. So within a circle of 75 kilometers from Schiphol Airport, we found all the suppliers who could make this object. And that meant that we also saved a lot of money on transportation. Of course, we could have took this aluminum, ship it to China, melt it, ship it back, and then the benefits would have been gone. But it still would have been circular design, but the benefits for the planet would be negative. And if you zoom out and you see Holland, which is a very small country, I just Googled today, Holland is only half of the size of the Czech Republic, so it's really a tiny country. And in this circle, we produced the whole piece. If we zoom out further, you see it's just a small dot on the planet, hardly visible, but within this very small region, I managed to find all the suppliers for Blink. And when it comes to circular design, I showed you a lot of circles. This is my favorite circle. This circle is called Planet Earth. Nobody here will be able to escape from it alive. So this is all we have. There's nothing more. It's just a small dot floating in space. Please look at it. It's fucking beautiful. It's fucking awesome. My favorite circle. Thank you. Are there any questions? This is the chance, you know, you can ask me anything. About my girlfriend. I know a lot about cycling also. We can discuss Putin. Nobody? Okay, thank you. Oh, Jan, go ahead.
So, may I have a question? So, how do you feel? Oh, sorry, that you are such a famous.
Come here, Jan.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a chair for you.
Okay, lovely.
You want a beer?
Thank you. I have that. So, thank you. So, děkuju.
Cheers.
Cheers. So, thank you very much for your speech. But I have one question. You are such a famous designer, but you are talking about circular design, and I fully respect and I fully agree with your perspective. But how do you compare it that you are famous, so your design like travel around the world? Would it be better just to work for local market, or just for European market, for example, that it should be enough because because of the shipping, because of the transportation of your products, or you can be like okay, just that you try to be as good as possible with circular design, and the design could travel around the world. What's your opinion? What is better, like to be famous designers for the rest of the world, or just to be local?
Of course, it's better to produce local. And for me, local is Europe. The whole of Europe is about the same size as the whole of China. So for me, the local market is Europe. It would be the best that it gets produced in Europe, it stays in Europe. Of course, that's unavoidable, that it goes around the world. That's not what I want. Some of my clients, I have clients in Holland, actually Lensveld, who produce the Schiphol airport furniture. They refuse to sell outside of Europe, which is good. But some of my clients don't. It's not in my hands. But for example, the first slide I showed you, the dandelion for Moy, it got copied a lot in China, and the Chinese sold it in China mainly. A little bit outside of China, but mainly in China. Made me super famous in China, which is very nice. But of course, I preferred to have the royalties, because in that case I would have flown into Prague on a private jet, which is not so good for the planet, so it's good that that not happened. But so local producing is of course better, but if we go to the energy transition, which the process is started, and as soon as we finish this process and we got rid of our oil addiction and we use only sustainable energy, then that problem is also solved. Then it doesn't matter. If you can ship it with energy made from the sun or energy from the wind, we can again ship it to the rest of the world.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Děkuju. Já bych se rád zeptal, jestli... I have to speak English, okay? I would like to ask if does it make you... we have seen your discussion about saving plastic, everything, and then you look on the war in Ukraine and you see so much waste of energy. Have you make it to stay positive and create more things? Because if you see so much wasting, what is your opinion for this? Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's very easy to get depressed, but that's not my nature. I'm an optimist. And of course, it's extremely sad that this fucking idiot, which is called Putin, does this total irrational bullshit. So I hope somebody kills him very soon. And it's very sad what all these people in the Ukraine have to go to, and I hope this war ends very quick. But I'm an optimist, so I think there are also two aspects on this war which are positive. One aspect is that we, as the Western civilized world, stand united to fight for our freedom. Here in Czech Republic, people remember communism. So to sing the song of the Beatles, Back to the USSR, I don't think we find anybody in Czech who wants that. So that is one thing. The people in Europe are united. That's a positive thing. And when it comes to sustainability, it's also a positive thing because of these crazy prices we now pay for our gas and our oil, we start to understand the urge that we have to make this energy transition today, now, very, very, very soon. And if we would have done that, if we started 10 years ago, we wouldn't be in this problem. But apparently we need a crisis like this to create this awareness. So on a positive note, as an optimist, which I am, I'm happy that the energy transition is even higher on the agenda than it was before.
Anybody else? So, we can have another beer.
Okay, well, thank you. Oh yeah, please. I still have some beer, so I still have some time.
Hello. Can you say maybe something about Dutch design in general? Do you think that it's specific in a way? Dutch design, if it's specific, if it's recognizable, if it's different from other national designs, if you can say so.
If you could talk about Dutch design, is there some specifics of that? Because if it's recognized or not, more about you.
Dutch design has become a movement since '93. I can pinpoint the date very well. It was April '93 when a bunch of young Dutch designers presented themselves in Milan under the name Droog Design. I was one of them. We were like 5 or 6 other ones. This really young, crazy punks. I looked like Kurt Cobain, having hair like this. But we went to Milan. This is before the internet. This is before we had mobile phones. And at that point, design was about form, beautiful form, shapes. And all of a sudden, this young bunch of crazy Dutch designers talked about sustainability, about humor, about social aspects of design, topics which were not part of design at all. And that was the very first beginning of the wave of Dutch design. And at that time, all these young designers were nobodies. But nowadays, they are called Marcel Wanders, Hella Jongerius, Richard Hutten, household names in design, which were at that time nobody. I had an interview with the New York Times, and they wrote, "He looks like a rock star, and he talks like a philosopher." That was fantastic. It was amazing. I was literally world famous over time. I'm very happy that these aspects about social design, about sustainable design, now have become mainstream in the design worldwide, and that it's still a big inspiration for young people like you. But at that time, it was very revolutionary.
Also, from my perspective, it was, I started at the university maybe 15 years ago, and Dutch designers were heroes for us because it was so different and was so inspiring because, the Holland is almost the same as Czech Republic. I mean, the size of the nationality. So it was so inspiring, to be original, to be different, which was so. I think that, from my point of view, it was it was, how can I say, it was more about humor than about the technology. It's more about how to enjoy the job, which is still like, I think it's still like very contemporary, like to be different and to be quite playful and enjoy the job, which is most important for me, honestly.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this joy shows in the work. That's why I want to be an optimist, because if I would have been a pessimist, I would make everything black, and everybody who sees it gets depressed, and that is not bringing the message. So I want to bring the message of the transition we have to make with optimism. For me, designing is playing, and playing is about sharing and having fun and doing things together and laughing together. But playing is also something which is very serious. If you and I play Monopoly, Jan, and you're not crying when you end up at my hotel, it's no fun. So playing is something very serious, and for me, playing is about serious fun. Well, thank you for your attention. We now have to go to the next party, but it was nice that you came. Thank you very much.